Today I'm going to be starting another 24-hour readathon. I did one about a month ago, but I actually have a week off of school right now, so I thought it was the perfect time to do another one. I love doing these to kind of just dedicate a lot of time to reading and honestly not much else. I haven't had a lot of time to read too over the past couple of months because of school, so this is definitely going to motivate me and allow me to read a lot more in the next few days than I have been able to recently, and I'm so excited to get into this one. So first, if you've never seen one of my 24-hour readathons, I am the type of person who does it over the span of a few days because sleep is far too precious. So I start a timer on my phone when I start reading, and anytime I stop reading to take a break, eat a meal, sleep, whatever, I pause the timer, and I do this until it gets to the 24-hour mark. Normally that takes me about 3 days. I don't expect it being any different this time. I do have a TBR for this 24-hour readathon that I was slowly kind of picking out over the last week, getting ready and anticipating this video. So I'll just quickly share that with you and then be on my merry way, I guess. So first we have The Goodbye Cat by Hiro Arikawa. I know this is probably gonna make me sob, but I thought it would be kind of nice to add kind of a cozy, feel-good, maybe feel bad book into the mix. I haven't read a lot of literary fiction lately, and this one is from the perspective of a cat, which love. I loved The Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arikawa, and this one has been praised as being just as good as that one, so definitely had to add it to this TBR. Then I have Pen Pal by JT Geisinger. This is supposed to be a dark romance about a woman who becomes pen pals with an inmate, and then he eventually escapes prison or is released and starts stalking her. I added this one to this TBR because I figured it was going to be probably a really quick read. Not a lot of brain power needs to go into reading it, I'm hoping, and that's always great for a 24-hour readathon when you just need to let your brain have a break. Then I put on I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. This was on my TBR for my last 24-hour readathon, and I was really looking forward to reading it, but I read The Unworthy by Augustina Bazterrica, and I did not like that book, so I was really nervous about this one because they're supposed to be kind of a similar premise, I guess. It's a cult involving women. That's all I really know about it, but I didn't want to give this one a go and let The Unworthy sour my taste. But I feel like enough time has passed since reading that one that I can now safely read this one, and hopefully it is going to be better than The Unworthy because I really, really want a good female cult book. Then I'm hoping to read We Live Here Now by Sarah Pinborough. This is supposed to be a horror about a haunted house. I absolutely adore haunted house novels. I think they're so much fun. The author has the ability to play with the atmosphere like no other genre of horror. Next, I have a cute YA romance called I Hope This Doesn't Find You by Anne Liang. I actually had a friend who read this and really loved it. Again, I thought it would be kind of nice to break up other reads with a cute little romance to allow my brain to have, hopefully, a break. This one also does not seem that long. It's like 300 pages, so that's nothing. Next, I'm really hoping to get to The Lamb by Lucy Rose. This, once again, is another horror, but it is more about, I don't want to say cannibalism, but I know that that's an aspect of it. It's supposed to be a modern fairy tale, I guess, about a woman who lives with her mother or grandmother in the woods, and when people get lost and stumble upon their cottage, they make meals out of them. That's what I got from the synopsis anyway. And then last, I have 2 graphic novels on this TBR. I love reading graphic novels during 24-hour readathons. I think they are great to kind of boost my morale and make me feel like I'm accomplishing things, and then also pretty pictures. You can't go wrong. First is Love Me to Death by Tunamated. This is supposed to be, I think, similar to The Corpse Bride, where there's an undead woman who's resurrected by her husband and someone else, a necromancer. That's the someone else. It looks like it's going to be a super cute art style, and I think it would be a great kind of pick-me-up throughout this readathon. Okay, I probably shouldn't like spoil it for myself by looking through the book, but I'm really hoping it's going to be good. And then I put volume 10 of Lore Olympus on this TBR. This just came out, and I can't wait to read it. I know I've said this before, but this has got to be one of my favorite Lore Olympus covers. It is so cute, and it looks like it's going to have this plotline hopefully focus more on the relationship between Hades and Persephone. Really hoping because those are my favorite parts of Lore Olympus. But that is my TBR for this readathon. I am going to get into it right now, and I'm thinking I'm going to start with I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. I just feel like it would probably be a good idea to get the thing that is the most daunting to me. I don't want to say out of the way first, but try it first, especially when I feel fresh and my brain doesn't feel overloaded yet. So I'm going to start this one right now in my office. I think in a little while I might go to a park or something and read outside because it is a gorgeous day, and it would be a shame to just spend the entire day cooped up inside. But we'll see. The rain will have to hold off because I think there might be rain in the forecast. Hopefully there isn't and I'll get to go outside. But anyway, I am going to start this one right now. So I just finished the first book of this 24-hour readathon, which was I Who Have Never Known Men, and I am now at 4 hours and 52 minutes. It's kind of crazy because this book was only 190 pages, but it took me almost 5 hours to read, and I think it's just because it was kind of a slow pace, and also I didn't want to speed read and miss anything. The way it was written kind of felt like I couldn't do that. I had to really pay attention and focus and really try to understand what the hell was going on. That is not to say that it wasn't clearly written. It was very clearly written and very well written at that. I just think that a lot of the things the author was saying had much deeper meanings than what was just on the surface, and so I was really trying to take time to absorb it and just understand it to its full potential. I still don't think I understand this book. I guess I'm going to start off my rating / review of it saying that I don't think that many people would like it because it is not your typical plot. There's not really climax, there's not like a big conclusion. We don't get to figure out this huge, shocking surprise at the end like you would expect. It just sort of ends, and that is not a spoiler in any way. It's more of like a caution or a warning that if you're not into vague things like that, I probably would not recommend this, but if you are, I'd say give it a go because it was a great time. Another strange thing about this book is that there are absolutely no chapters or parts. It's not split up in any way at all. No paragraph breaks either, like no spaces between paragraphs saying that any time has passed. It just starts on page 1 and then just constantly goes until page 190. So it is only 190 pages, but probably would be like 300 pages if there was actually half pages where chapters started and spaces between paragraphs and all of that stuff. A very short but dense book, needless to say. And I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. I know some people really hate long chapters, and this book is just basically one long chapter, so would not be everybody's cup of tea. As for the story itself, again, I don't think everybody would be into it. I was wrong going into it. I thought it was going to be about a cult, and I guess, I mean, it kind of could be, but it's more about women who are held hostage by, we assume, men, but honestly, it's up to the reader's interpretation, I guess. But one day something happens and they end up becoming free and have to try to survive in a depleted world. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to say any more than that. I think it would be interesting to go into this book not knowing too much. I made the mistake of reading the introduction at the beginning of this book, which completely spoiled most of this book for me, and I was a little saddened by that. I really hate how they do that in introductions. I wish if someone was going to write something like that, they would put it at the end of the book and just have it as a little extra thing for the reader to read after they finish the story, because I didn't know what was going to transpire, but then when I read the introduction, it spoiled half of it, and when you get to certain scenes that felt like they should have been kind of shocking, I wasn't surprised because I knew it was coming. So that was a little disappointing. I would say if you're reading this edition, I don't know about other editions, but skip the introduction if you don't want to be spoiled. But yeah, this was 5 stars to me. I am so glad that it was better than The Unworthy by Augustina Bastarrica. These books are nothing alike. They get compared to one another, and I can see it slightly, maybe, because they're kind of set in like dystopian worlds and revolve around women, but other than that, there's not really many similarities between the 2 books. So if you are like me and you also did not like The Unworthy, this one is not like that, I promise. So now we're just about 5 hours in and my brain already feels fried. I do this to myself every single time. I start off with an intense book and then I exhaust myself and I don't know where to go from here. But that is why I put romance on this TBR, so that I had something to fall back onto when I felt like this. So I think I'm gonna go with Pen Pal. Hopefully this one isn't gonna be too disturbing because I'm not really in the mood to be disturbed. Part of me thought about picking up The Goodbye Cat, but I just know that's also gonna take a little bit of brain power and I don't have that right now. So I am gonna start Pen Pal tonight. I'm hoping that I can read about 3 hours worth. If not, I'm gonna have to make up for some lost time tomorrow, which might end up happening. But if it does, that's fine. I'll just lock in tomorrow and hunker down and read some more. I just hit 10 hours and 40 minutes of this readathon and just finished Pen Pal. First off, I can't believe that this book actually took me like 6 hours to read, 7 hours, because it felt like it flew by. I flew through this book, did not want to put it down. It was the perfect choice for a 24-hour readathon, and I'm so glad that I picked it up. It was not at all what I had expected. I knew it was going to be dark romance pertaining to a pen pal, but it completely took me by surprise and in the best way possible. There was so much more depth and meaning and layers to this book than I could ever have imagined. I don't think I've ever read a romance that has actually affected me in the way that this one has. I could almost cry about it, honestly. It was devastatingly beautiful. The romance was actually romantic, but it did stay dark. I should say the romance itself was not the dark part in the dark romance, but I don't want to say too much without spoiling it. I think that this would be a great one to not know much about going into it. I'm blown away by just the plot of this book, especially the last, I'm gonna say 100 pages. They blew my socks off. If you are into dark romance, highly recommend this one. I will say, however, it is quite spicy, and I know that a lot of dark romance readers expect that, but this one has got to be probably one of the most spiciest books that I have ever read, but it is written rather well, I guess. It's not super cringy. There are a few cringy parts, and at first I was going to dock it a star and give it 4 stars instead of 5 stars because of the cringe. I really can't handle cringe all that well, but the end was just so freaking good. It has to be 5 stars. I've never read anything like this book, and I don't think I ever will ever again. Yeah, 5-star dark romance. This readathon is going great so far. I'm super happy with it. And hopefully we can continue on this upward trend. I am going to pick up The Lamb by Lucy Rose. I think my brain is ready to handle horror again. I'm a little sad that I'm like moving on from Pen Pal so fast. I really want to linger with that book, but I also want to keep the ball rolling for this. I think what I'm most nervous about this book right now is that it's going to feel slow in comparison to Pen Pal, and that might kind of make me feel unmotivated to read. Based off of the first line of this book though, I don't know if pace is really going to be a problem, because it starts off with the sentence, "On my 4th birthday, I plucked 6 severed fingers from the shower drain." Gnarly. I'm intrigued and can't wait to find out more about that, I guess. But anyway, I am going to start this one right now. I'm hoping to get to the 16-hour mark tonight. I definitely think that this book is going to take me longer than 5 hours to read because it is over 300 pages, and I have not been reading the fastest lately. And I am kind of expecting to finish it tomorrow. we are now on day 3 of this reading vlog. I am 17 hours and 13 minutes into reading, and I just finished one of the arguably most disgusting books ever written. And I don't know how to feel about it. I think it was a masterpiece, but I also feel very nauseous after reading this. It definitely had a lot to do with cannibalism and just disgusting things revolving around that. I don't know why I keep reading books like this, because they really give me the ick, but I'm gonna blame it on morbid curiosity, I guess. I don't really know what else to blame it on. I don't want to delve too much into this book, mostly because I just really don't want to relive it. I've had to experience it once, and I think that's enough for me. But also because I'm sure loads of people would, horror lovers, I should be specific there, would love this book and devour it, as people have so graciously said in the little praise blurbs on the back of this edition. Ugh. I feel like I'm having a really hard time thinking of a rating for this one. Part of me thinks that it was masterfully written. Scenes were beautiful and horrific all at the same time, which was 100% the author's intent. And in that regard, it definitely deserves 5 stars. But based on how I feel right now, I want to give it 1 star. And that's just because I'm horrified. So obviously it doesn't actually deserve 1 star. I'm just currently in a state of distress, I think, because of this book. I think I am gonna actually settle on a 4-star rating. And the reason why I wouldn't say 5 stars is just because it felt a little slow to me at times. At other times, I really wish it would have just slowed down and maybe just stopped altogether. I would have been okay with that. But yeah, there were just some scenes that felt a little repetitive or kind of dragged out, and they didn't really need to be, but I can see why the author chose to do that. This book is just ew though. If you are looking for something to scare the pants off of you and make you feel gross, and once again you really like horror, would recommend it. Other than that, probably wouldn't recommend it to anyone because it is really disturbing and it might disrupt your sleep at night. I am very fortunate that I did not have any nightmares about this one last night because I was expecting it. Like I said though, beautifully written, very, very well executed. Not something I think I'd ever want to subject myself to ever again. So that's enough of that. I think I want to read something a little bit happier now. I cannot do another horror right now. I am not in the headspace for it. I feel like I could cry, if I'm being completely honest with you. That's how deeply that book just affected me. So with that being said, I think I'm going to completely shift gears and go back to a romance, but this YA cute romance. I need a change of pace. The other books I have on this TBR seem a little bit too intense. Even Lore Olympus, I don't really want anything that's gonna make me feel upset right now. I just need a quick, easy breezy read, and I'm hoping that this one is going to deliver on that. I think before I started though, I am going to just take a brief little break. I still have like 7 hours left of reading to do today, but I need a moment after finishing The Lamb, so I'm gonna say take probably 10 to 20 minutes and just kind of recuperate after that horrific masterpiece. But then I will get to reading I Hope This Doesn't Find You, and I hope that it is going to make me kind of forget about the content of The Lamb, so I can hopefully sleep tonight. I am now just past the 21-hour mark in this readathon, and I am about to do something that I have never done while doing a 24-hour readathon. And That is quit. I'm done. I know I'm so close. I only have 3 hours left, but I mentally cannot do it. I am starting to get a horrible headache right now, which is making reading just absolutely miserable. I'm not having a good time, and it's not the book's fault. I am really enjoying I Hope This Doesn't Find You so far. It is kind of like To All the Boys I've Loved Before, except instead of love letters, it's hate emails that accidentally get sent out. I think that's such a fun concept. It has been so good, and so that's part of the reason why I kind of want to call it here, is that this book absolutely deserves a fair chance. Every book deserves a fair chance, or 99% of them anyway, and I feel like I'm doing it an injustice to try to read it in this state and feel so frustrated reading it. I can really feel that I have slowed down with my reading speed, and I'm not absorbing things at all. Like, I've had to reread pages because I find my mind has just gone completely blank and I'm not even paying attention to what I'm reading. That is just how fried my brain is right now. Part of me 100% blames The Lamb for that. I think that book really did a number on my brain, and it's gonna take me more than just 20 minutes to recover from it. This was definitely the right choice to go with after that. I just don't think there was any book at all that could make me keep reading and not develop a headache and just exhaustion after finishing The Lamb. I think it's just one of those things that was inevitable. I have also been reading for quite a while today. I still had 9 hours to go when I woke up this morning, so I knew it was going to be a long day of reading, but I thought I could do it, and I can't. I'm throwing in the towel. I know you probably are thinking like, oh, why not just extend it to a 4th day? But this is the last day I have before having to get back into the swing of things with school and doing all the work for that, as well as doing chores around my house. I've really neglected that over the last few days, unfortunately. I think this is the right decision. I have that feeling where I feel kind of at peace with this decision. It's not giving up, it's knowing when to just stop and say, okay, am I even enjoying this anymore? And if the answer is no, why am I doing it? I will still definitely be trying to do 24-hour readathons in the future. I think for the future, if I only have like a week off of school and my brain already really needs a break, I'd probably try to do just maybe a 12-hour readathon next time and either split it into 2 days or try to get it all done in 1 day. That could be really interesting. Less daunting for sure. I'm gonna take this as a learning experience that when your brain needs a break, you listen. All in all though, I still count this as a win. I read 2 5-star books, a 4-star book, and this one I'm like halfway through and feels like it's on its way to being a 4 or 5-star read, so that's really exciting. So I can't complain about the amount of things I've been able to read in the last 21 hours. I feel great about it, and I know for a fact if I were to read for 3 more hours, I could probably finish this one. I don't know if I actually could with the headache I'm getting, but it's still kind of a rough estimate of what I can read in 24 hours. So with that, I think I am gonna leave this one here. I hope you have a great rest of your week and happy reading.